You know the feeling, right? You're training your pull-ups every single week. You're pushing harder, you're hanging on that bar longer, and you're probably testing your maximum over and over and over again. Yet somehow, despite literally all that effort, your number absolutely refuses to move. Like 3 reps becomes 4, 4 becomes 5, and then just nothing. Weeks pass. You can actually feel your back getting stronger, your grip feels better, but that pull-up number, it's stuck. It's like someone just pressed pause on your progress, and it is incredibly frustrating. Well, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to break down exactly what's happening in your body and your programming, and we're going to reveal the hidden pull-up strength gap that catches almost everyone. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to break through that plateau.
So, why is your number completely stuck? Well, here's a pretty uncomfortable truth that nobody really tells you. Doing more pull-ups is not always the fastest way to get better at pull-ups. Crazy, right? In fact, if you just keep attacking your maximum every single workout, you're likely practicing the exact habit that is keeping your number completely pinned down. The goal of your training isn't to just barely survive more pull-ups. The actual goal is to make every single repetition feel easier. Because, once the reps feel easier, that's when the number naturally starts climbing on its own.
Okay, let's dive into this. Think about your last workout. You hit 6 reps on the first set, maybe 4 on the second, and like 3 on the third. Your muscles are burning, your form is breaking down, your legs start kicking, but you keep pushing, right? Because you think more reps equals more progress. But there is a massive difference between testing your ability and actually building your ability. A maximum set merely tells you what you can do today. Training, on the other hand, should make you capable of doing more tomorrow. If every single session is just a competition against your previous record, you aren't really teaching your body to pull. You're just teaching it to perform while utterly exhausted.
When you push to absolute exhaustion, sure, your early reps might look great, but later on, your shoulders shrug up, your grip starts slipping, and your range of motion gets cut in half. Your body starts desperately searching for shortcuts. At that point, your nervous system is literally spending more effort just surviving the set than it is producing high-quality force. So you have to change your mindset. Instead of asking the bar, how many can I do, you need to ask yourself a much more important question. How many perfect repetitions can I repeat? That single shift changes everything about how your body adapts.
Section 1. The hidden pull-up strength gap.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what I mean. The bar doesn't care how motivated you are or what kind of hype playlist you've got on. It only asks one biological question: can you generate enough raw force to overcome your specific body weight? Imagine 2 athletes. They can both pull down exactly 60 kilograms on a lat pull-down machine. They have the exact same absolute pulling strength. But athlete A weighs 55 kilograms and athlete B weighs 85 kilograms. When they step away from the machine and jump up onto the pull-up bar, those identical strength numbers suddenly mean something entirely different. For athlete A, the bar is a total breeze. For athlete B, they're essentially trying to pull a heavy max. The pull-up is a bodyweight movement, meaning your own mass is the resistance.
Which brings us to the true culprit behind your plateau: relative strength. This is the hidden strength gap in action. If your absolute pulling strength stays exactly the same, but your body becomes heavier, maybe you gain some muscle or just put on a few pounds over the holidays, the movement inherently becomes harder. If your raw force doesn't increase to compensate for that added mass, your repetition numbers will drop. Now, you don't necessarily need to get smaller to chase a higher rep number, but you absolutely must improve the relationship between the strength you produce and the mass you carry.
So how do we actually bridge that hidden strength gap? Well, if you find yourself endlessly looping high-repetition bodyweight sets, but your max remains totally flat, you need a stronger force-producing engine. Current resistance training guidance actually supports this. Once you can perform clean, bodyweight repetitions, adding a small external load, like say a dumbbell between your feet or a dip belt, exposes your body to a heavier demand. You aren't turning this into some max strength ego competition. You're just systematically asking your muscles to produce more force while maintaining excellent technique.
Section 2. Mechanics and weak links.
Because, even if you've closed that strength gap, you might still be sabotaging yourself with poor mechanics or undiscovered weak links. And the absolute most common saboteur is your relationship with muscle failure. Think about your pull-up set like a draining battery. If your absolute maximum is 6 reps, those first 3 reps use relatively little of your available capacity. But as fatigue builds, each additional rep becomes incredibly expensive. Reps 4 and 5 take a ton out of you. And that 6th rep, it drains the battery completely. The secret here is that you don't need to perform that red, battery-draining 6 rep every single time. If you stop around 4 and 5 while the reps are still clean, you save energy, you accumulate high-quality work, and you set yourself up for drastically better recovery.
We really have to let go of this idea that a workout was only good if it absolutely destroyed you. Look at this finding from the 2026 American College of Sports Medicine Evidence Review. Training to momentary muscle failure does not consistently produce superior results for the average healthy adult. Why? Because adaptation doesn't happen simply because you suffered. The workout is just the signal. The recovery is where the body actually builds the muscle and those crucial neurological pathways. If you exhaust yourself to failure every session, you just enter this frustrating cycle of poor recovery and bad performance. You have got to let your recovery do the heavy lifting.
And the reason those pathways matter so much is because pull-ups aren't just about raw muscle. They are a highly complex movement skill. I mean, look at all the elements your brain has to coordinate simultaneously. Grip, shoulder position, scapular control, elbow movement, trunk tension, breathing, and timing. The more efficiently all these pieces work together, the less energy you waste on every single pull. This is exactly why sub-maximal practice, staying well away from total failure, is so essential. You wouldn't practice a basketball free throw by randomly throwing the ball as hard as you possibly can, right? You practice the skill.
And speaking of technique, let's bust a massive myth right now. Grip width. People spend hours on forums debating whether their hands should be an inch wider or an inch narrower. But research examining different pronated grip widths found basically no meaningful difference in maximum strength or repetitions to failure. So seriously, stop obsessing over the perfect mathematical hand placement on the bar. Just find a comfortable, repeatable position that feels strong for your shoulders and focus all your energy on getting stronger right there.
However, and this is a big however, while the width of your grip might not matter, the actual strength of your grip absolutely does. Sometimes your back has plenty of energy left, but your hands simply give out. Your fingers open, your forearms are burning, and the repetition just disappears. Pull-ups require massive coordination from the forearms. So if this is your weak link, train it directly with dead hangs or farmer carries. But make sure you do this without destroying your forearms right before you actually need to do your pull-up sets. Train the weakness, don't bury it under fatigue.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 3, the simple pull-up plan.
We know testing maxes fails. We know the strength gap holds you back, and we know we need to avoid failure and treat the movement as a skill. So how do we replace your old, frustrating routine with a practical, evidence-based system? It all starts with frequency. 2 to 3 days per week is the optimal sweet spot to train the pull-up movement. This gives your body the repeated exposure it really needs to practice the skill and stimulate muscle growth, while also giving your central nervous system and your lats enough time to fully recover between sessions.
Across those 2 to 3 days, you're going to split your focus. Session 1 is strength-focused. This is where you use a modest external load for low repetitions, stopping before your technique breaks down. That builds your raw force engine. Session 2 is for quality volume, strictly body weight, accumulating clean reps well away from failure, and if you do a third session, make it entirely about technique. Perfect movement, really controlling the bottom position, pulling smoothly. You are accumulating highly useful volume instead of blindly testing maximums week after week.
Now, the absolutely crucial point here is how you track this progress. You've got to stop measuring your success solely by your one-set maximum. Instead, track these 3 specific, progressive metrics. Step 1, track your total clean repetitions across a whole workout. Step 2, track your added resistance during your strength days. Is that load gradually increasing? And step 3, occasionally, and I literally mean occasionally, test your maximum performance. Your maximum is just the scoreboard. Your training is the practice.
But listen, none of this works if you fall victim to the biggest mistake of all, changing your program too quickly. You know how it goes. You try this for a week, nothing happens, so you switch methods. You try a new grip, a new YouTube challenge, a new supplement. You're constantly resetting the experiment. The ACSM emphasizes that actual biological adaptation takes time, consistency, and gradual progression. You do not need a secret exercise. You need a structured system that you actually give enough time to work.
So, we've covered a lot of ground today: the hidden strength gap, the real dangers of muscle failure, and the need for a targeted, progressive plan. The next time you grab that bar, I really want you to stop asking, "Can I beat my record today?" Instead, ask yourself, "What can I improve today that makes my next record possible?" Your number isn't going to increase because you keep stubbornly proving what you can already do. It increases because you systematically become capable of more. Stop chasing the max. Start building the strength behind the number. The number will have absolutely no choice but to follow. So the next time you walk up to that bar, are you going to test your limits, or are you finally going to start building them? Thanks for joining this explainer.